Hello, world. I'm Farsight, and welcome or welcome back to Techtonica. Okay, it is sometime later. I have done some things that I said I was going to do off camera, and in the process, we ran for a bit, and we are kind of paused right now because we have got some back pressure. So, what did we have? Well, I set up the blue science and the first purple before we started. I have laid out the second and third purple, which involved just a little bit of haircut to the back wall here. I thought we were going to dig back in, but we didn't. And we have our iron and our copper coming up from below the floor here. Nice. And I verified that everything looked good. We don't have iron and copper hooked up yet, so none of the iron and copper has been tested or anything flowing from it. So we are where we are. Kindle Vine, I did a small change. I had this turnaround belt up here high next to the Kindle Vine planters. And I had space here, so I just rerouted it so it would be on the same level. Notice that we are paused and we have a whole bunch of not seeds here. Well, that's because we stopped producing, because we stopped threshing, because the thresher couldn't output its stems, because stems are being routed out to here for second threshing. And these guys are stopped. Well, why are these guys stopped? These guys are stopped because the Kindle Vine fiber, the plant matter fiber, has completely filled up this line. And we are not stashing it in a box because there's no need to keep our Kindle Vine running just because the plant matter fiber isn't there. Now, if we start making use of the Kindle Vine extract over from that box over there, yes, we are collecting our Kindle Vine extract, and we are, hold on, where did it go? This belt here, our Kindle Vine extract is being routed over into a box. If we decide that we need to build stuff with Kindle Vine extract, which we will soon, I will need to assure that the fiber, plant matter fiber, is routed off into a box so that we don't stall the factory just because we're not using this to its fullest. And indeed, we're only going to be using, even at peak, we're only going to be using that at 60. So, yeah, we will always have some Kindle Vine that escapes through the process and needs to go in a box. I don't know, maybe we arrange for all of that to be turned into frames and box the frames up. They take less space. I think it's the only thing you make out of that. I don't know. I don't know of anything else you make from Kindle Vine, from plant matter fiber. You can burn it, but it isn't great fuel. So that's what happened there. I took this entire farm area and duplicated it and planted shiverthorn. And again, as with Kindle Vine, our shiverthorn is backed up because we have two outputs from shiverthorn. We have the shiverthorn extract, which is headed over towards science, and it does go through science and get boxed up because we are using the plant matter. The other output is plant matter, and these guys output 40 plant matter per minute, not 30, so they need to have two inserters bringing them out. So a total of 120 plant matter per minute is heading out on this belt, and it is being split, and it is going each way. It'll be heading off that way towards the copper mine and that way towards the iron mine. Let's take a look at the planning for the moment. What do we have here so far? Well, there is our shiverthorn farm and our Kindle Vine farm. We have not done the iron and the copper yet. We've done the blue cores, processor units, and the cooling systems. That was those first few machines. And we've done the purple cores. So what we have left are just the mines. Turn off the editor. I am bad about turning off overlays that I turn on. So now, my next steps to get this whole area up and running are to provide it with iron ingots and copper ingots. Now, copper, you can see copper is down and to the east. There. And this is actually opening out that way along the river. And iron is over there. Let's go do iron first. I ran all three belts out. So the top belt is fuel, and the bottom belt will be iron, and the middle belt is copper, but we're going to get rid of it. It's in there right now just for spacing. I want to reserve as much space as possible for building stuff, so I brought the floor all the way out to there. I'm going to bring the flooring up in there. And at some point, this is going to be a convenient location to go in. Maybe a little bit further. That looks good. I could line it up with a grid line, but I don't see the need. What I'm thinking of for now is kind of split the difference between these two so that we're not digging through a pillar in a hurry. Now, I don't know if I have done digging on stream, setting up a nice terraced riser. But if you just do it one square at a time, you can tell I do not always use the same hotkeys for the same thing. You just always go up and forward by one. You end up with a nice ramp. I'm just going to alternate between digging and placing down the power floors. Now, I need to take this up high enough so that we're at the bottom of the iron. I don't know how high that is yet. Neat thing about digging is that if we go too high, we can always continue digging. So, we've got a nice ramp, and I think I'm going to call this my level right here. And I'm hoping that this is not too low. If it is, I will have to raise my miners on power floors. And now we head out this way until we reach the end of the iron, and that's probably at least this far. Well, we can see. If I bring up this tool, I tune it for iron, you can see it sees all the iron here. So this is the edge of the iron. So we head back to this bit of power floor that we laid out. We laid it out straight back that way as far as we want to go, and it will have just put itself right in the middle of everything. And now we just carve our way back. And if I carve a square too far, that doesn't worry me. Okay, so here is our level. I'm going to see if I can put the mine down on this lower level, and that way we can get multiple levels out of the mine, if indeed that works. We're going to bring this guy all the way over. Okay, so we overshot the mine by a little. That's all right. Since we're laying out a row of miners, if we have some stuff that happens off the end of the row, that's perfectly fine. And again, I'm not too worried about overshooting on this dig, because we are going to dig until we are well into the iron area. Or past it, as the case may be. Huh. I'm noticing on the minimap we are either above or below something really big. We are below... So there's the waterfall. Back there's the freight elevator. Okay, so we cannot grow vertically. That's fine. Good enough. Let's choose something kind of midway. Oh. Do we want to do midway, or do we want to bracket? Let's bracket it. Iron and stuff. So I believe that's here. Means that our right-hand end would be like here. But down. And you can see how this is just kind of lighting up the stuff that's below. There's the iron. I could just hit straight in. And I am actually below the iron chunk, so we are going to have to raise our miners up on power floors. That's fine. It is likely that we are eventually going to be using filter inserters or fast inserters to move things in and out of the miners anyway as they upgrade. Those require power. We're also probably going to have more than one floor. And it looks like this chunk, I could come at it from both sides. And it does go down far enough. Maybe I won't have to raise my first set of miners. But just down at this end where the iron doesn't come down quite far enough. Now looking at that shape, it actually seems to me that I could raise the miners up just, 2 floor widths and have a nice sweet spot. And that means that if I need to do belt jiggery pokery, that can go below the floor. There's an idea. Let's work through this. Give myself a little space to work here. I'm going to think in terms of miners on a floor with belts that go below the floor as needed. I think that's... currently I'm delivering my fuel from above the inserters. What if I do it from below? Let's set up our level floor. Now, I am currently overloaded because I have all of that stuff. I'm going to just spend a whole bunch of flooring to do this the super easy way. I'm going to chunk this over until some of it's buried. Then we're going to chunk it back by 1. The miners will extend, so I don't need to put them any closer to the wall. So you see there's a valid spot for the miner there. All along here this is still valid. It will reach out to hit the rest of this. And if the game goes on long enough, eventually they grind through and they extend and they extend. If they're all starting at the same position, then they will end up making a flush wall in front of them. But what does this look like? Let's start from this end. I'm going to place down... I could do as many as 8 miners if I wanted. But let's start here. I could go 1 over. No, let's not. I'm going to do it here. And that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 miners wide at this level, and they all are set up to do good things for me. So there's some things about this that are forced. For instance, I always want fuel in the side. Just to make absolutely sure, we'll just pump a little bit of fuel into each one. Well, actually, I only need to do these at the ends. If the ends can pick up, everybody can. My goal is to have the fuel line go up to there and go down to a line going crosswise here. And I think the easiest way is to pick off... Oh, that's going to pick off the stuff on top of it as well. I just want to pick off the flooring along that line. Okay. I can see this is going to be a little difficult. We're going to pick that flooring off, and we're going to do this one. I want to make sure this is not going to pick up my my miners. And we do need to have flooring under the inserter, because that's where I want to anchor. Oops. That's where I want to anchor my fuel lines. So fuel will come in, let's say it comes in from over there and heads this way. We're going to do here. It's just going to go straight across. Let's make sure that it works. Yes, it does. With that in place, I can now put these down. It will leave gaps in the floor that are just big enough for the belt to go through. So glad they chose to do it this way. They could have chosen to say, if there's any place we can't put it, we won't let you put the whole thing. That would have been unfortunate. And now we need to give ourselves a little bit more room for the smelters. Let's say 3 more. And as before, I'm just placing these down 1 to 1. Even though that ratio is not accurate and is going to become less accurate as we upgrade things, because this makes a nice compact build, and for now I like nice compact builds. These can output 40 per minute, which means they need 2 normal inserters. Now, if the furnaces could input 40 per minute, they would be outputting 20 per minute. So I'm going to output here. And I'm going to need a little bit more room on this level. Let's do 2 more floors. think I could just dig that out down below. Yeah, let's dig it out down below on the next line across. Because why not? So there's our output, which we are going to route right back this way. Just like that. So the next question is, how do I want to get the fuel in here? Now, I could have run my output line a ways away, and we could have a fuel line coming in on a yellow. I don't think I'm going to have any problem getting fuel in. If we don't want to be using a lot of fuel, we'll use denser fuel if we have to. But a long-handled inserter should be able to grab all the fuel we need. Straight across. Now he needs to turn a little bit earlier so that he can split from this guy. I'm glad I didn't guess, because I would have guessed differently. I would have guessed something more like this. In fact, why can't I do that? I think I know how to do this. We're going to do that. Put in one guy there. Now I'm going to, for the moment, just tag that in just like that. There we go. So our fuel line comes in, it gets split. Half of it goes up, half of it stays down. The one that stays down is going to manifold across the miners and back. And the one that stays up will manifold across the smelters on the top. And the one at the bottom is actually a bona fide manifold, because it will fill up. Well, half of the input fuel is going to get put on this line until it's full, and then half the remainder goes on this line, and half goes on here, and so on. So we expect our miners to start lighting up in the back. When I say half, don't know which way the first one's going to go. So the first bit of fuel is going to go somewhere. But as things go, this will get a full load of fuel before any of these. And if I have built this right, okay, so these guys run at 38 per minute input, 19 per minute output, so it's got that doing 20. This guy will do 40 per minute, then he'll drop back to 38 when he has back pressure. It's unfortunate that the upgrades don't make it so that their rates match. Maybe they really, really don't want us to do direct insertion. But there's our iron. Now we have fuel on the fuel line, and as soon as we start relieving pressure on that fuel line, the farms that produce it will gladly start churning again. Now, what do we do about this? I do not need this whole mechanism here. What I do want is to join this with the cheap stairs. Those are going to go down just like that. And we make sure that they are joined. If this is lighting up gold on the corners, it means we have power. And now we can run our fuel line. It's a good thing that I made a huge amount of belts that was so big that I thought I would never use more than a fraction of them. And the fuel is coming across the top. So I am going to have to do some swirlies here to reorganize. So the iron is going to be coming that way. A little bit of trial and error here to get the ramps the way I like them. Here's our fuel. Actually, let's actually draw this across as a standard bus and keep the standard bus semantics. Even down to the fact that I'm going to have a splitter here. So he's going to split off from there and go to the lower part. And this guy is going to be coming up here. He's going to make a turn and head in there. So we are tapping this bus at the appropriate levels, and we are creating a new bus which has an entirely independent layout. Here's our fuel. I experimented with what the layout becomes when you start to want to do bio-brick. And bio-brick is good stuff. But when I got up to the point where I had, you have to use if you don't want to be mining a lot of limestone, you want to be turning kindlevine extract into limestone. It requires a lot of kindlevine extract. So, not using bio-brick yet. I couldn't get a decent factory using the bio-brick and trying to make it closed loop so that we had all of our limestone and all of our plant matter that we needed for the bio-brick ready at hand. And then you get enough bio-brick for all of these guys, and you just put down more and more farms. maybe later. We can see in that brief time, though, we have delivered fuel. And these guys are all chunked up. This guy is turning out it's 40 per minute. Well, it will be once it gets more fuel. And this guy's turning out is 19 per minute, so that's 20 by 6 is 120. So we should be seeing just a ton of ore. I'm going to pause for a moment at each one of these and check and make sure they're not backing up and that they're actually producing. The common mistake that I make is to put inserters in backwards from where they need to be. The other thing I do by mistake is I will put a machine down, put some fuel in it, and then when I place its inserter that adds fuel, I'll put that backwards. And that means when I do the cross check, I will think that I've got a working machine, but actually it's going to run out of fuel in 30 seconds, and I just don't notice. So if we turn on alt mode, we're on a NVIDIA. We're not on an NVIDIA card. So the AMD card still has the bug where we don't have the icon, but we do see these are all glowing green. So the green halo means I'm happy and running. Don't need to carve that out right now. So now we want to do something similar to this over for copper. And on the way, I am going to drop a whole bunch of stuff. I don't like being overweight. Makes me move slow. So this guy is using 120. No, how much fuel is he using? He's using 20 for each of those 6. So 120 fuel is going to... Hold on. I may have under-provisioned my fuel. I don't know. Let's double check that. So 6 iron machines. Oh, 6 iron machine pairs. We have this guy running 9 fuel per minute minus epsilon. With this guy running 12 fuel per minute. Let's call those together, that's about 20. So 20 by 6, 120. So we should be using 120 fuel per minute. And that is not what I've got here. Oh, good Lord. Scrolling back to our mining area. So, mines. Mining iron, I have budgeted out at 72, roughly 72 fuel units per miner. That's wrong. We're actually running on the miners, running 9 by 10, so that's actually 90. Yeah, 90 and 95 of 90. $85.5. 85.5 fuel units for each miner. And the smelter is 120. Oops. I forgot. When I do the output of my Python script, it puts it inside a escaped block that doesn't do things special in org mode. I need to move the begin example and end example. And what this tells me is, oh, we still have more plant matter than we need. Good. What is our total plant matter output? Oh no. Oh no. Please tell me I didn't do this. Oh, that's correct. We have a total of 120 plant matter here. But we know we're using 120 plant matter. Oh, Lordy, look at this. In my inputs, I am claiming that burning plant matter gives 25 fuel units per, and it only gives 10. So the amount for the Kindle Vine stem got put into my fuel efficiency. So we are way short on our plant matter. So following the same plan, we are short by 855 fuel units per minute. And what we need is 85 more plant matter. So we need to have a second Shiverthorn farm to be able to do this. Well, for now, I will let everything run slowly. I thought that was too good to be true when I was running the numbers. I thought this was not giving me truth in that it was so easy to do with the plant matter when it was harder to do with the biobrick. We may shift over to biobrick production because I screwed up the numbers. So biobrick was nice, but it wasn't that much better. Oops. It wasn't that much better than these numbers I was looking at here. And if the numbers I was looking at here were with plant matter giving 25, then it's no wonder. I'm not going to replan right here and now, but there will be replanning in the future. I need to double check all my input numbers in general. In this case, I think that was the last error in this particular sheet. So, yeah, a second layer of those farms. I will have to think about what I need to make biobrick. I will double check the numbers on biobrick. I may have had an error where I was requiring too much of something, which was causing my number of farms to bloat. And going this way, again, we have our fuel on the top. We have our iron on the bottom, which we do not need anymore. It was just a spacer. I will leave a little bit of a tag here. We can see what goes there. And let's do the same thing for copper. Oh, I'm still moving slowly, aren't I? I don't want to drop all this crap. Well, we could head back to our little cubby hole back here. But what do we have? Oh, that's got. Okay, so we obviously need a box just for limestone. I will toss plant matter in there as well. Let's keep one stack of each. This is our general junk. And move the plant matter. What else do I not need to carry with me? I don't need multiple stacks of that stuff. Don't need any of that. For the moment, I'm not going to need any of those. Good enough. So, now we lay out the copper mine. Yeah, I think the more I think about it, more I like the idea of doing a second layer. So we end up with 2 sugarthorn farms and 2 kindlevine farms. Bust their outputs a bit, and then work out how to do biobrick, which I will then supply as fuel to the miners and pelters. So over this way, somewhere this way, I've got copper. I like the idea of attacking it from this side. So I'm going to go straight across, and then we will go diagonally down to the right and diagonally down to the left to pick it up. So, straight across until I have passed over copper area. So you saw how I stair-stepped upwards. Stair-stepping downwards feels more tricky to me. Oh, well, problem solved. We just come off the end. Well, The question is now, what is my floor level for mining this copper out? This might be my floor level. Out of curiosity, what is the water level here? We could bring this in at beach level and then look at how high our let's bring this in at beach level. We may need to raise our miners, although we only raised them last time because we realized it was interesting. And it got us 600. Okay, well, we had good reason to raise them. The edge of the copper. I'm going to call this my 0 floor down here. I like the way it worked out with raising the miners up, and putting the fuel underneath them. I'm just not sure how well that works if we have more than one floor. Yeah, if we're going to do 2 and 2, I think we need to put the fuel where we originally had it, so it goes over the inserters that are moving the ore. Not going to worry about the backside of this one yet. Okay. If I could fit 4 wide on here, I would. Probably can't. Start from there. And my front is going to be here.
You're off to a good start with those mining drills, Breaker.
I can fit 4 across if this one straddles the line. Can I move this one down by 1? I could, and it would straddle that line. Almost. There. Okay, well that gets us 4. 4 is what I want, so I'm going to do those 4 on a raised floor, just like we did before. And we'll raise it from back here. Off the edge by 1 here. Go. And I need to remove the floor. Oh. That's still trying to remove. Too much. Not sure how the geometry works out here. I need to eventually get up above. I'm thinking we go over a bit, and then I'm going to dig up the diagonal until I get to the right level, and then we'll cross over. Smelters. And I am too short by just a little bit. So we need these two. There's our output. And here's our fuel line. Output for the copper ingots, copper ore. Timing on copper is the same as on iron unless it turns out to be different, in which case we'll work on it. Okay, so we have fuel there, and output here. And before I start working on routing the belts, I'm going to work on how I get up there. I have heard that we have vertical transport belts coming soon. This is a good thing. So I want to go back in there, bring it out a little bit. Okay, I'm inclined to make this my feed. We're going to come over there, and our fuel is going to come out there. And at some point, it's going to turn. We're going to bring it in and over and down. And on this side, we're going to bring it out. And that is just... There we go. That makes the turn. Why is this not putting a junction? It's because I can't do that, can I? I have to bring it down here. Can I bring it off to the side and make a turn? This is going to have to turn that way anyway, so we'll just have this tap from the same place. So we'll bring it this way a bit. Yeah, this is going to work out. Let's go 5 more back. Start to go up. That gets us a control over our tunnel, which at this point is going to be up at that layer. Should put a ramp up at the end, huh? Yeah. Okay, let's make a nice gentle slope beginning there. And we'll use that as our dig going upwards. Our belts are going to go wherever they go from there. So, copper output. Fuel input. And we'll just tap the fuel input, right? At some point I will come back and just neaten all of this up. Could use some light, couldn't we? I need to put lights on a button. Put those on 4. Yes, you can put lights on top of junctions. When I found that out, I was like, oh, this makes me happy. That lights us up. Turn off alt mode because I know all these guys are just going to be red, red, red. So currently I don't actually need power down here, but in the future I may, so we're going to run the power floors all the way and we're going to verify they're connected. We won't need power floors on the bottom, because that's just where belts go. Did I remove the power floor here? No, and now we dig upwards until we have same level. Oh, that would make it hard to do. I need to stand somewhere. Make sure I can see where I need to be on the level. Okay, so there's the belts over there. And I just need to keep going until I'm at the same level. And that's going to be a little tricky to see, I can already tell. I think my goal is going to be to get a little bit too high and then to cut back on the same level, the flooring, right? Nobody notices if the ceiling is off by a couple. I do notice that we have cavern we're headed up towards. That's our I don't know, maybe we're and just bring this straight up. What I could do is bring it straight up. Yeah, where we make the bend, we may hit the cavern before we hit it. diagonally up until we hit the cavern is not actually a bad strategy. It means I can just mindlessly tap this out without worrying about whether we are at the level or not. We're getting close, so I need to decide now, keep going until I hit the cavern, or do I stop when I'm at the right level? I think I am at right level right now. I am going to do another 6 in. I want to make sure that I am moving forward and level with all of my belts before I start making the turn. Another 4 after this. Oh, looky here. I found the cavern. I think I'm at the right level. So if I grab this and bring it across, we are 1 square high. Perfectly okay. Start from here. We're going to bring it over. Guessing. As it turned out, 1 square high was actually where we wanted to be. So, yeah. And now we can put our stairs in here. Hold on, can I put those one further in? No, I can't. Stairs go there. So the bottom layer is my bottom layer is the copper. So on the copper back first. And we actually want to run it one higher. Yeah, because we want to meet it up with the main bus. So yeah, why not? Let's just bring it all the way across. I'm going to actually lay the power out at ground level. This gives us the easy way of bringing our belts into the main bus at the right level. So now I can trim this out. know me, I love my sky belts. And now the fuel. And just like the other end of this, we are kind of managing the ends of the bus to look as much like the bus as possible, even though it will probably never be extended. So this looks like copper is joining into the bus and fuel is joining out of it. And if I did this right, we should certainly have copper coming. We'll look at it. There we go. Got copper going to the bottom and the top. These are going to run short of fuel because I have about half the fuel I need. Okay, he is turning out copper. And he is turning out copper. He is turning out copper. So we've got 4 guys turning out copper at almost 20 per minute. And there's our power is hearing. So aside from the fact that we have now oversubscribed our plant matter output, we're good. We can see that our iron has filled in all the nooks and crannies here. I'm always so impatient waiting for things to appear on conveyor belts. Well, you know, it helps if it's actually connected. It's too bad that these belts kind of wobble their way up. It'd be nice if they just have the diagonals joined nicely. But I suppose, you know, those are going to get replaced with vertical belts in the next release anyway. There we go. We're going to split half of our copper out that way, and the other half continues along the bus. And we don't actually need copper bust further than this yet. So I am going to zap this belt, which, as mentioned, only really exists for the purposes of keeping the spacing right. And that put us into inventory overload. copper's coming up here. We should now be producing science. Mechanical parts. Guy is... guess what I forgot to hook up? Did I forget here? I forgot here. So, check each machine that it's getting its input and that its output is going somewhere. He's not getting any copper. So the amount of copper coming in is low enough that this guy's having problems getting some because this guy is peeling it all off. But it will back up here. There we go. Check these guys. This guy also is drawing the slow end of the fetch on copper. Gonna stick around here until I see him get some. He's got one there, and he made some output. Good. Guy's making output. This guy is making output and he's backed up. That's the way the copper guys should be. They're actually probably making faster than we're consuming. Are they? No, they're okay. They do match. I guess he was just waiting on mechanical parts. No, and all the purple comes down here, and some of it gets pulled into this machine, which has. Hold on. Parts. Guy needs mechanical parts. This guy's making them. I wonder how many places I forgot assemblers. So, making mechanical parts. Consuming mechanical parts. Producing the coolers. So I completely forgot to hook the inserters up on that one. Yeah, you never really are done with it until you actually can watch each machine produce, get its inputs and produce its outputs. Now over here, he's producing cable. And he is consuming cable and iron and producing electrical parts. He's grabbing electrical parts and producing processors. And is backed up on processors. Oh, these all were waiting for cooling units. What are we doing for power? Power, we are just fine. Okay, I saw earlier he had a purple ready to go, and now he's moving them in, so this is made of blue. This should be consuming 2/3 of the purple science. I think it's probably doing it in batches. I am going to give him a little safety here. So it will fill up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Half of them are going to go here. And half, he needs 2/3. Yeah, that's not gonna. Well, 3/4 of it will be diverted to him until he's got those guys filled. And then when he starts pulling, it will do 3/4 again. Good enough. We have other problems in this factory. We don't have enough fuel going back to our miners. So, what I'm going to do is do some off-camera work again. I will double the farms, because I've just decided I'm going to double the farms. Boom, double the farms. I will increase the power as necessary as we do more building. I probably will never mention that again, unless we start, getting into, oh, looky here, we have done all the obvious stuff. So, double the farms, increase the power, and I am going to work out how to make biobrick from this existing mechanism. And once I have the biobrick building, at that point, I will substitute the biobrick for the plant matter. But the first step is to double it so we get double the plant matter coming out. And that's all going to happen off camera. And I will see you at that point. Let me run over to our viewpoint. So I'm aiming myself down at this spot I was aiming at before, which is becoming harder and harder to find as the factory grows up in front of it. We'll see you in the next recording. Until then, have fun.